Hello disciples, Donkey here, and today we are going over my Arc Titan build. This build is actually nuts, especially with all the new season mods and the new buffs to exotic armor. Overall, this build allows for constant uptime on abilities, creates a ton of orbs, and gives increased super damage and higher damage resistance. So let's jump right in and see what this Arky Sparky madness is all about. Looking at our abilities, we have Fist of Havoc for our super, Thunderclap for our melee, and Lightning Grenade. Our aspects are Touch of Thunder and Knockout. For the fragments, we have Spark of Beacons, Ions, Resistance, and Amplitude. Moving on to the armor and armor mods, we have Heavy Ammo and 2 Siphon mods on the helmet. The arms, which is our exotic, Heavy Handed, Impact Induction, and Melee Kickstart. The chest will have 1 resistance mod, emergency reinforcement, and charged up. The legs will have absolution and double surge mods. Finally, our class item will have outreach, utility kickstart, and powerful attraction. Moving on to our weapons, we have Terra Zippos, the Strand Scout, as our primary, Cold Heart as our special, and the Saw as our heavy. You could use Hothead as well for your heavy slot, but I'm really enjoying the small buff machine guns received a while back. Here's a quick look at the artifact mods, and the only ones that matter are all of these arc mods. They are super strong, and there are a bunch of them to use. If you would like to pause the screen and take a screenshot of the build, feel free to do so, or click the dim link below. So now that we have all our pieces put together, let's jump into how everything works. Most of the build works around being amplified, and you can do this easily by getting a melee kill charged or uncharged. When amplified, 8 different buffs happen all at once. The amplified timer lasts twice as long, you gain bonus damage resistance, your super damage is increased, any arc final blows will create lightning strikes and jolt targets, special weapon kills will also blind enemies, movement speed is increased, your health will start to regenerate, and your exotic armor piece will get increased melee damage by 50%. Holy freaking smokes, that's a ton of buffs from simply getting 1 kill. Not to mention that by getting a kill, you also create an orb, and you can pick that up to refresh super and ability energy and get increased arc damage for your weapons. On top of all that juicy arc flavor, it is stupid easy to refresh the amplified timer by simply getting another melee kill or a few quick arc kills with your weapons. Our exotic Cold Heart is often overlooked as a decent PvE weapon, but with some buffs and tweaks it received recently to create ionic traces, and with it being overload this season, I think it is an easy choice to include it for this build. All in all, simply run around with your blue arc flavored crayon punching Titan and smash everything to bits. And with the buffs to Jolt and Lightning Strikes recently, Bungie has made this Arc Titan build a no-brainer. So, that's the build in a nutshell. If you'd like to stick around, we are going to break down the finer details of some of the mods and perks to see how nuts this build really is. Starting off with our Arc aspects, we have Knockout, which will give you amplified and begin health regen on a melee kill. If you break an enemy shield or deal damage to an enemy below 30% health, you will get increased charged and uncharged melee damage as well as increased lunge distance. Touch of Thunder simply gives us a second grenade, and the initial hit will jolt targets. Moving on to the fragments, Resistance gives us 25% additional damage resistance while near 3 or more enemies. Ions will create an ionic trace from enemies killed while affected by jolt, and Amplitude will spawn an orb from 2 rapid kills while amplified. Now remember that both Ions and Amplitude have a cooldown between spawns. For our seasonal artifact mods, Electric Armor simply increases the amplified timer to 20 seconds. Thunderous Retort gives us increased super damage while amplified. Amped Up gives us 30% increased damage resistance while amplified. Shock and Awe, while amplified, any arc kills summon lightning strikes and jolts targets. And lastly, Lightning Strikes Twice gives us additional grenade recharge rate, and any arc kills extend this buff. Bungie really went all out for arc this season. It's actually nuts. Moving on to our exotics, the point contact cannon brace gives us melee energy on kills with thunderclap. It also creates lightning strikes, jolts targets, and if amplified, increases the damage by 50%. Cold Heart will slowly increase damage dealt after a few hits, and while at its maximum damage state, it will create ionic traces every few seconds. So that's it, folks. Harness the power of Thor and become the god of thunder, jolting everything in sight, all while staying amplified 24/7. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and what other crazy builds I should come up with. Well, that'll do it for this video, Guardians. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe for free and follow along for more Destiny 2 content, and we will see you in the next one.